John Christopher was one of the many pseudonyms of British science fiction writer Sam Yode. After getting a scholarship from the Rockefeller Foundation, he turned to writing, eventually producing his famous apocalyptic novel The Death of Grass, and then going on to write, among other things, the Tripod series for juvenile readers, whose adaptation was cancelled by BBC supervillain Michael Grade, who deprived us of the second proper series of Colin Baker's run on Doctor Who, and who was apparently considering axing Blackadder after its first season because, to quote, he didn't find it funny. Mind you, just before the Tripods, Christopher also wrote a little book about Nazi leprechauns. Let's talk about that, shall we? The story proper starts out with an Englishwoman inheriting a castle in Ireland, though it's more of an old house despite the fancy title. It's located in the middle of bugger all, but she still has the bright idea to turn it into a hotel. But after the first group of guests arrive, strange things start going about the place, and then eventually they scramble down an old staircase into the cellar and find a group of tiny humans, the title a Little People. Mind you, it takes Christopher a third of the book to get to that, and then he spends even more time with the guests thinking up money-making schemes to exploit the little people / quote-unquote leprechauns, so much so that they themselves, sadly, get focused on for only a handful of pages as characters. We get told that they are quite savage bastards who whip rats for fun, and they are shown to have psychic powers, and Christopher even builds up their female leader as this dazzling, seductive Aisha-type figure, Aisha from She, but that gets dropped pretty quickly following that one time Aisha almost jerks off one of the guests because that was what the Little People's creator and previous inhabitant of the castle used her for in the past. We eventually learn that these beings aren't actually leprechauns, but are the result of a Nazi doctor's experiment on Jewish mothers during World War II, which is made extra awkward by one of the guests being a former SS officer. Christopher tries building up some sort of dread coming from these beings with their psychic powers and uninhibited sadism, but the climax of the novel is them messing about with people for one night, never actually killing anyone, before getting disposed of, which ended up being rather disappointing. And yes, to sum up, everything you see on that cover, including their beards, ends up being a lie. It would take a lot to make people not taller than a teacup scary, and the fact that they can't even manage to kill a single person means you probably won't find them scary either, especially after one of the guests suggests these tiny people form a band to rival the Chipmunks. The stuff of nightmares, that is.